Hello, hello, Rhoda here. I'm finally back to visit with you again and let you see a few little crafty things along the way. Um, as you know, my dad passed away, and we wanted to bury him on his birthday, which was yesterday, the 31st, and so we got that all done. Um, Along the way, through the week, or last week when I was running in and out of the hospitals, I got the big C. It's not a bad case of it. I just had a sore throat for like 5 days, but it was a mean sore throat, so you knew it was different. And then I kind of got a stuffy head, so the doctor put me on some medicine. Well, I'm working on that. and So we're going to just look at a few little goodies here today to try to get me back into the swing of things. I'll give you a sneaky peek, which I know we did that page, we did this page, and I think we did this page. Yeah, because told you I forgot to put something in that pocket. So this is the next one. And at one time when I was putting this page together, there was another page that was over here, and something happened to where I had to switch them around because it was like a whole photographic spread. But anyhow, I thought this looked like a photograph that he may have taken, so I thought it worked over here. And this is an actual pocket. It's one of those coin pouches or something somebody had given me, and it had that nice rustic look. I put a little lace here. You can see the other lace on the other side. Haven't filled that pocket either. Over here, you can see this neat cabinet card that Jody Martin sent me. And I had this little piece from out of, I think it was a Tim Holtz book. Yeah. One of his paper pads, and it's a photographic studio, and I thought this could be his calling card. As you see, I took a little bit of that scrap paper that I had and sprayed and grunged it up. I had a little film strip, and I cut from a little postage stamp from Scrapbooking with Me for her Valentine's, and I cut those figures out, and it looks like they were getting closer as you went. And then I think Tommy sent me this camera sticker, so I stuck that there. I've got one of those see-through stickers here with in it. It says photographs on the top. You can't read it, and that's like a piece of what's that, collage paper from Tim Holtz. Yeah, so that goes right back in this little pocket here, and that is what we're seeing today. Now, what I have on my desk is a whole lot of goodies from Miss Chestieta. And I'll show you this one. I put them in 4 piles. So I got one here, there, and there. So I was taking and trying to put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She had a few tags. She had given me several little ephemera books, and a lot of this stuff was in there. There's a few stickers. This is sort of like a little tag back here. But I'm taking all these pieces and parts, and I'm going to try to create something for each of the 4 Poe journals. Of course, it doesn't hurt that there's lots and lots of ravens in through here, and I love the skull element. That's the one thing I really wanted to carry through with these Poe books. It's not exactly a Halloween type of book. It's more of a to do with his storylines, because it was always about death. Now, here's one of the cards, the pockets, that I did make already for that stack. Each one of them, I think I've made a card for. So she had little tags. This one had a spider web, and I just buffed up the back. Oh, how I started, before I start that, how I started was I had all these cut-off pieces. I'm always talking about those, that you can reuse them for something else along the way. So I took those and put them on like a, cardstock kind of base, or a nice piece of cardstock, a chipboard, whatever you might have. This was like a little heavier piece of scrapbook paper. And then I just kind of layered a few of the colors on there, and either in a boxy shape or whatever I could do. And so those are my bases I start with. I probably have to cut those down because I think those are 5.5 or 6. I can't remember. So I cut them down to about 5. So this really cool image I wanted on the front. She had some stickers that I think they may have been from Lady Black Blood. You know, if you see her on Instagram a lot. So this one's sort of about poison. So there's a poison beware here, a poison bottle. That one could have been added into the poison. And of course, when you drink poison, you die. So you have a lot of skeleton heads. And then it's got for external use and to be used as directed. Okay. So that's the one I got for there. Here is the one I've got so far for that stack. And this one's sort of like a witchy element. There was a jar, and I don't know if that's an eyeball or what that was supposed to be in that jar. Oh, let me scoot it over a little bit and then you can see. Yeah, so I don't know if you can tell what that is. But that since I had cats, I put rat tails over here. And sarsaparilla, I just kind of like that. I got a little kitty cat here. There was a kitty cat pocket with Halloween. I put a feather there. And then inside of here is a spider. So that's, oh, I need to buff the back of that one. I was just taking like my scorched timber and kind of just rubbing it on the back to give it a shade other than white. You know, I don't like white. All right. And there was a little section in of moths. There was different moths in her pieces. So there's a little bit of those in each one of these stacks as well. Here's the one I got for number 2 stack. It has just a little, I don't even know what that is. It's some kind of little tag. So I've got the bird here. I've got Essence of Black Crow. And then I've got this thing. It looks like a bat crow or something over there. So I kind of like that combination. And then I have one for this stack. Oh, no, I got 2 for this stack. I was going to town with it. Okay. So this one has crow jerky. We have this little scary man. We got hemlock. We got eagle nails because I thought that would go with a crow. So we got that one. And we have, which one did I get that out of? That one. All right. And then I have this one, which will face this way. It's sort of like, I'm thinking of putting a hinge on it too, where you can open it since I've got a tab on it. I thought I would do that. I've got a little rip of that paper that I did the mica sprays and the bats on. And then there was a bat cut out. And then a house, an old house, bat ears. I have a big old eyeball there. I don't know why. And then this crow. So, and then I don't have anything on the back, but I may cover it with a paper or something, a stencil. I'm not sure yet. And then we're just going to do a couple here. There was another cool tag. I've got a crow. I cut these out ahead of time. I'm not sure I'm going to use all of them, but I have 2 bases here that I was thinking of decorating. This one, I already kind of got it laid out. There was a crow with a top hat, and I just cut a little wedge in the top of for a pocket because the skull is going in there. Then I cut out that little fun haunted house. She had a ton of these. I think that was Lady Black Blood as well. And then I picked that little bat thingy again. There was a witch. So I don't know. This one I didn't have the witch in, did I? I have her in the small form. Do I have her in the big form? I love all this stuff, Chestieta. I'm just going to town with it. It's making the coolest pockets. So, you know, you always need pockets when you're going through a journal. And especially when they're a themed pocket that goes with, and there's that house. So, there's the witch. Okay. Here is the little witchy lady. So I may use her instead of this bat thing. I like that better. I got a little bit of white right there. So let's cut that off. And she would go better with a haunted house idea. And I'm trying to figure out what else to put on here. These little, whenever you're layering and you're wanting to do something, let me see if I can move you down a little bit more after I've showed you everything. You want to put several elements on your pocket, and then you're going to fill in with these little wordy type things. This one has Pegasus pills on it. Not that it really goes with this, but still. And then I've got this, it has a number, which I thought was a nice addition. And maybe one of these other little things. Now, you can always add other stuff as well, like those little curator tags to it. Whatever you think. I was just going with what I had in my piles at the moment. She had some cool little bottles and things like that. I've got this crow, though, and I'm thinking of inking up the outside of him so he's not as white. And I'm going to put him in here somewhere. I like his beak. His beak got cut off. But other than that, I think he's functional. He could be looking back at his brother there. All right. So I'm trying to use up what's in this bottle. I think Tommy sent it to me, and I've been trying to use up what was left in it. And so I didn't have the bottle hanging around. If it'll go down in there. But yeah, we had a real nice funeral. Boy, the breeze was just a blowing and almost knocking a couple of vases of flowers over, so those guys had to be on their toes. But he asked for if anybody had any stories, about Dad, and they all remember sitting around somewhere and telling stories, whether it was when they went out hunting or when they were at, reunions, or they loved and loved to tell stories about the family. So they brought this one up, and I think I've told you it before, I'm pretty sure, but I'll tell it again. It was where they were over at my Aunt Lucy's, and she has this really nice little porch outside of her front door, and it was like almost like a little breezeway kind of a porch, and you could sit out there and just enjoy. The door, it didn't have an outside door. Well, it had a spring loaded screen door, that's right. But so it would swing open and shut as people would come in and out. So you had a tendency of, flies and things coming in. Well, that's me setting the story up. Well, I know my dad was there, and my Uncle Howard, and probably his other brother, Uncle Bob, was all sitting there, and then Uncle Elwood. He's the one that he married my Aunt Lucy. So it was all family. There may have been a couple more, I can't remember, but these were the main players. So they were all sitting there, just shooting the breeze, talking with each other, that kind of stuff. And there was a fly that was on the cement. That's what the floor was. It wasn't fancy, it was just cement. But there was a fly that was kind of flying around, and then he would land, and kind of being a pest like a fly will be. And they were looking at it and everything, and all of a sudden my Uncle Howard, now he was more like Grandma Rhoda than any of them. He had a lot of Indian in him. He looked like a red man, I'm telling you. Because we got it. I sort of know where it's at in the family tree and all that, but he had the dark skin, the chiseled cheekbones, all of those wonderful features. And so he he had a few limber, he was very limber, so he had a few skills that the rest of them didn't have. And he was just able to bend every which way. And I don't know if it was like, double jointed or whatever, because my little aunt that passed away at 11, Lily, that was my dad's closest sister. She was right before him in birth, and she was said to be double jointed and could bend, people that can bend their elbows and joints backward and forward and every which way. She was able to do that. And so they, the doctor, no, Uncle Howard, I'm getting back to my story. I'm trying to figure out if I need something in that spot there. I really like this number. I'm really liking that number. But I don't like that I got two shapes there that are the same. That's my issue. Let me think about this a second. Okay, so I went over there and I pulled out my little drawer that's got my curator pieces on it. So I can get a couple of those and put in here. And yeah, here was my little tag that had what all was in here. I had field note snippets, the number strips, curator, and something else. Who knows? So I just need to find the pieces that I want to add. I mean, some of these kind of look like they're write-ups of some kind of, pharmacy doctorings. I don't know. Let's see if I can find the right one as I tell the rest of my story. All right. So Uncle Howard spots this fly, and he looks down there, and all of a sudden his foot just flies out and go like that. I mean, it came out of nowhere and flat. And my dad looked. Yeah, they all saw exactly what happened. So my dad, he starts this laugh, and he had this weird laugh, and he just starts going he he. It just starts out slow and starts to build, a little bit. And he had a good sense of humor and everything, but Uncle Howard, he didn't. He took a front at about everything. So what happened? Uncle Howard, he goes, "What are you laughing at?" And Dad said, "That is the first time I've ever seen anyone with a fly swatter foot." So, oh my God, yeah, Uncle Howard, he didn't like that. Oh, and everybody starts laughing. I didn't help. But yeah, they had the best of time, and there was always something with Uncle Howard. I've told you the story about his Delphine. It was some kind of a car. Maybe it was Delphine or something. It reminded me of the word dolphin. I got it in writing somewhere. I just hadn't looked at the stories for a long time. But yeah, he had a time. People laughing at him a lot. I don't think he meant to be funny. He just was. Oh my goodness. That is the daddy of my cousin Phyllis, the one that's always commenting and watching me. She's so sweet. She told me since I haven't been on here, she's missed my voice and all that, and I appreciate that, Phyllis. I love you. She had a special daddy too. All right, Mr. Skeleton Head is going in here. Oh, I do have to punch I always like to have this to show you that it is a pocket. It's kind of like the little hint that it is a pocket. Okay. I'll throw a little ink on here. I'll probably check all this when I go to put them down in the books. I think I'm going to have to add a whole lot more pages to these Poe books because I might even reprint some more of the Poe ones because I just didn't have that many Poe pages, it seemed like. I was looking at them yesterday. All right, there's our first pocket that we made. I really like it. You got a large subject here, and then you got smaller, and then you got the witch. And it sort of has a theme. She's got some feathery things around her hat, and it looks like there's a feathery thing there. You got the wings, you got his wings. So, and then this one, so it's kind of ties all in together, which is great. Now we're going to do this other one. If you don't care, I don't know if I've got a story to go along with this one. But Chestieta had put, I guess she had just a little strip of paper, and then she put all these little kind of tags on here. I like the apothecary one. I might have to cut this off at this end because I think this is not the right width. Where did I go? Oh, I got my little cutter right here. So we're going to bring the little cutter out, and we're going to measure it at the bottom down here and see. That's 5. I may go 5 1/4. I don't think I have to be at 5. I would like to cut the other end, though. I really like that little white piece. I don't know if it's going to get covered up or not, but we're going to try to keep it. So we're just going to cut it right there. Remember, all of this is scrap, so you're not really losing anything. It would have been cut, chucked, something. Anyway, let's go ahead and put our piece at the top. Which way is the top? I think this is the top. It looks like I'm a little crooked on my gluing, for sure. But, yeah, I think I'm going to have to come up with a little... Okay. You know I'm into genealogy, so I did not get a nice chunky obituary for my dad, which we only had to go to the funeral home site, but I really wanted to have a lot of stuff in there, and then my sister didn't, and so I just went with whatever, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just do a few stories for the family afterward. And so that's the way I decided to go. All right. Yeah, so she didn't like that I was going to mention that Dad didn't finish school. They were asking at the funeral home, how much education or something he had, or so I forget how I guess they'll say something about maybe if they went to college they went and this and that, but I said, well, no, he never finished school. He quit about 7th or 8th grade, and he started working. And my sister didn't like that. She said it sounded like it would be looking down on Dad to say something like that, but I didn't look at it that way. I saw it as he became a very, very successful brick and block mason. So I'm looking at it like he was very skilled and went very far in life, just mostly by his smarts alone. And he loved history. He read all the time and, learned things. So, he did some really, really difficult combinations with the brick. I mean, they were amazing, some of them. You ought to see our basement. In our basement, he built a fireplace, and it's got like the big mouth of the fireplace, and then on each side there's like an upper and a lower little alcove kind of thing. One of them down here was to hold the logs, the cut logs. The one up here was probably like a bookshelf, and he was looking at having maybe a finished basement at one time and all that. That never happened. That never happened. But yeah, he did some beautiful work. And they were talking about the minister that was there. He was like Dad's second cousin, because the minister's dad was Dad's first cousin. I think that was whatever. My brain has not been working too well lately. So anyhow, and what I think I'm going to do is cut it like kind of like right there. And I might cut this in half and then have this part maybe for something else. We'll figure it out because I'm going to glue it down before I trim it. So yeah, it was to me amazing what he made with his life. And I think he told me, or yeah, he must have told me at some time some of this story about, why he quit and what he was doing and who he worked for, because I have a bunch of that stuff in his notes. And so he said that there was this car that was about $300 that he was wanting. And this one man who had it, his two nephews, they were into the brick industry. They were masons. So the guy that had the car was their uncle. So they told Dad, see, I don't know if some of this stuff was stickers or not. I've just been gluing everything down. I think these were stickers. Whoops. So they go and they said, we'll tell you what, if you work for us, through the summer, we will get you the car or whatever, and you can work it off. So he agreed to that, and he worked, and he mixed the mud. That was the job he did. He mixed he mixed the mud. And so let's see, I'm trying to find another something to put in here. And then something happened where the two boys, and this was a Kenny and Winnie Henderson. I've heard these two men's names through my life, all through my life. So they were like, almost in the house with us kind of deal, because he talked about them a lot. So anyhow, okay, I found this bottle. I'm going to put this bottle here. I like this bottle. I stole it out of somebody else's pile, but that's okay. So yeah, these two went into the military together. So to keep their business going, their uncle, I think his name was Crawford Brooks, took over, and he did their business. They probably learned it from him if he took it over. So the Dad was still working, mixing the mud and everything, but I don't know if he must have got a chance to lay something for this Crawford Brooks to see, because that guy, he says, you are too good at this to be mixing mud. So he took Dad underhand, or in hand, I guess you'd phrase it, and started, teaching him things. And I forget what he said, if he worked for them for worked for him about 4 years. And, of course, he got his car. He got that. And then he got an occupation besides that, So this guy, I think I'm crooked. Am I crooked? Let me move up a little bit and give myself a little bit more glue under here. Yeah, so he was working on all that and getting skilled at it. He said something about he worked for him for 4 years, and then he would contract out. And over the years, he had others that mixed mud for him, and he told me about them. And this one guy, he was like the last one he ever had, and his name was Dave Kellison. He was a local guy, of course, and he was something. Now he he drove a Cadillac. That was just his style. He loved a Cadillac. So he drives up. It's one of the stories that was being told at the graveside yesterday, that he drove up and everybody's thinking he's the boss because he's driving a Cadillac. So anyway, Dave, he was full of stories. Oh my goodness. And my brother just hung on every word. He was working with him for a while because Dad was showing him how to do masonry. And yeah, Dave would be telling these stories, and then he wouldn't. They were arguing about something, about he wanted the scaffolding a certain place and Dave didn't want it there, and crazy things along those lines. So they said it was never a dull moment around there with those two. And I remember Mom would be making his lunch or something, and we'd be going and taking his lunch to him, and there they were, doing all their work around the foundation or whatever it was they were building. But it was always interesting. It was always hot. He always just had a t-shirt on, and he would always get tan even through the t-shirt. And over the years, all that, and he used to do the really big block. The I guess it's the 14-inch or something, or it was another number, because then he decided only to do the smaller version because it had worked on his back. It had messed his back up from working with all that. Now I'm going ahead and putting a few more of these little guys on there, maybe this one, and I'll pick out another curator piece, because see how it's kind of blocky down here with all these little label type things? I want to carry that look over, like, maybe I'm trying to figure out where to put this. Maybe like right there. We'll put that right here. And then I'll pull out something from my curator and finish a few other little areas. Now, you don't want to just plop it right down the center here. This is where, and I got a little reddish one. And see, I've got a little bit of a red, maybe an orange there. Will that look good? Yeah, I think it will. But we're going to overlap things now to try to help tie them together. When you put something right out here, it's like an island. It's not touching anything else. It's all on its own, so it's got to carry its own story. But you're going to tuck it up here, just below and just over, and you want to stagger your edges. You don't want them to be straight lines, but you tuck it right there. It's connecting the story of the crow and this label, which carries us over into everything, You also want to do different shapes. You don't want to be all boxy or whatever. So I see this cool looking little one. It's got mason on it. Look at that. My dad was a mason. I kind of like it up there in that dark patch. And it's touching a couple of its neighbors, so that's a good thing. So let's try that. I was thinking I had something in here with poison or something on it, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe these didn't have that. Now see, this is like a little six-sided thing. Dr. J.C. Hunt. Oh, kind of like that there. All right. So we kind of filled this in. And see, this is the same shape on the edges as these two. So that combines my story a little bit there as well. Yeah, this'll finish that off. I don't want to cover up Paris, so I'm just gluing right to the base of that. All right. Let me pick this aside and I'll show you what we got. Let me pop the top on this thing. So it looks a little busy, but I don't know. I mean, especially if I put it on a page that doesn't have much to it. And it's going to have something in the pocket anyhow. So you're not going to see some of this. It's going to be whatever is on the tag. But I kind of like that. Especially since I had the apothecary, I had to have a bottle, I felt. And then you've got the doctor here, and, those kind of things. So, where was my other one? No, it wasn't this one. trying to figure out what I did with the other label or tag I just did. Not tag. Pocket. That was it. Okay, there we go. I wanted to show you my side by side. Okay. So these two will be for one book. And I really appreciate everybody's support and for, watching some of my videos, my older videos, to keep my channel, kind of going along. And I really want to thank everyone. It means a lot that you thought about me. And I had so many people give me condolences that I think they're like watchers that never really comment or anything, but they came out. They came out and they were telling me how sorry they were about my dad, and I really, really appreciate that. And it really meant a lot that so many people thought about me and, about him. And yeah, it still hits me at times. And I made him a little card to go in his little vaulty thing that his urn would go in. We all gave him a card, and I made one that was a candle because it was his birthday, and it was like his first birthday in heaven. So I made it sort of like one of those remembrance candles that you light in someone's memory. So that was kind of what I came up with for his card and everything. And yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you all coming to see me, and I will get back with you soon. Got a couple more ideas to put out, and I will get to those and try to layer them up here through the next few days, so I can get back into the swing. I also need to get back into getting more stuff done for this Poe journal, because I've just been doing nothing. I've been too busy, doing the running, and then we had to get ready for the funeral and all that kind of stuff. And oh well. I thank you. Everybody have great health and great happiness and a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.